Title: How the East India Company Invented Corporate Power. Before there was Wall Street, before the Rothschilds, before the Rockefellers, there was one company that ruled the world. It didn't just trade goods, it traded nations. It owned armies, minted money, and shaped empires. The East India Company, a name whispered through history, because it wasn't just a business. It was the prototype of corporate power. It began on the final day of the year 1600. A group of London merchants stood before Queen Elizabeth I. They were granted a royal charter, exclusive rights to trade with the East Indies. That single document created something the world had never seen before. A private company with powers once reserved only for kings. It could wage war. It could sign treaties. It could command fleets, collect taxes, and execute justice. The East India Company was born not as a merchant's venture, but as a new kind of empire. They set sail across oceans no Englishman had ever crossed. Their mission was simple: to bring home silk, spices, tea, and treasure. But beneath the trade routes, a deeper revolution was unfolding. For the first time, merchants pooled money from hundreds of investors. Each man bought a share of risk and a share of reward. It was the birth of the joint stock corporation. Profit was shared, loss was limited, and greed became mathematically organized. The company was no longer just a trading house. It was a machine of capital. Its ships carried more than cargo. They carried the first shares of global capitalism. Investors in London could profit from war in Asia. Boardrooms could dictate the fate of kingdoms. Money had become a weapon in trade, a theater of conquest. But merchants soon realized to protect profit, you need power. So the company built its own private army. At its height, over 260,000 men served under its flag, more than the entire British Army. They fought not for country, but for dividends. This wasn't commerce anymore. This was corporate warfare. In 1757, the company fought the Battle of Plassey and conquered Bengal. From that day, the company no longer just traded goods. It ruled land. It collected taxes. It governed 20 million souls. Villagers paid tribute, not to a king, but to a boardroom in London. The East India Company had become the world's first corporate state. In Bengal, millions starved, crops failed, harvests withered. And yet the company demanded payment. While entire provinces died, London investors toasted record profits. This was the first example of profit without accountability, a system that rewards greed and punishes humanity. A dark mirror of capitalism was taking shape. By 1857, the people of India had had enough. Soldiers and peasants alike rose in fury. The rebellion shook the company's empire to its core. For a year, blood filled the streets. And when the smoke cleared, the East India Company was finished. The British Crown took control, dissolving the company forever. But what it had created could never be undone. Though the company vanished from history, its ideas survived. The joint stock system, limited liability, shareholder profit above public good. Every modern corporation, every multinational that wields power greater than governments, is a descendant of the East India Company. Today, the armies have become algorithms. The cannons have turned into contracts. But the empire still stands in boardrooms, banks, and corporate towers that shape the fate of nations. The East India Company didn't die. It evolved. It became the system. It began as a voyage for spices. It ended as a conquest for the soul of humanity. The East India Company didn't just trade goods. It traded the very idea of sovereignty, selling it to the highest bidder. And once mankind learned how to conquer in the name of commerce, the world would never be the same again. You've been watching The Empire of Finance, where we uncover how money became power and power became the law of the world.